The prophet said, "You would know the secret of death. But how should you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depths of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like the seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king, whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die, but to stand naked in the wind, and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing, but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you've reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance." Now, Buck was a dancer. No question about that. Sometimes professionally. I first met Cindi Buck in the fall of 1973. I was working, it was rumored of a guy who was the business manager of the carrier current radio station in Carolina, WCAR. I was a good broadcaster until I got a job at WQDR. And because of that, my roommate followed me to Raleigh, and he ran around with a group of people in Raleigh, one of whom was Cindi Buck. We were attracted to each other. Of course, we were all a lot prettier 51 years ago. And it really didn't work out because she was a ball of fire and I was more reserved. It was a speed freak. That's the only way I could even keep up with her. One of the things, and I'm sure all of you have had this experience, Buck introduced me to a lot of her friends. And so I got to meet Joyce. Joyce was a single mother of one. And I was over at her house the day after Nixon resigned. So it's easy for me to remember how I met her sister. My name is Sean, and I'm Cindi Buck's brother-in-law. Now, Cheryl, who we call Squirrel anymore, had come over to Joyce's house because Buck owed her $5, and she needed that money to be able to buy a ticket for the August Jam at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember that. Anyway, Cheryl and I started dating after Joyce and I separated, and we've been going steady for 50 years now. And I didn't realize it at the time, but Squirrel's a nun, because I get none in the morning, none in the afternoon, and none at night. But she became my wife in 1977, so we've been married for 47 years and going steady for 50. Now, Buck and my sister, who passed away in '96, went out and bought our wedding rings because we were getting married out of justice of the peace. And so at the corner of 3rd and Ludlow in downtown Dayton, Ohio, which is where I was doing radio at the time, we exchanged our wedding rings that the two sisters-in-law bought us. And we had a party. I had a 32-acre farm at the time called Megawatt Farm. When snow melts, it gathers up rocks and dirt and everything, and y'all have seen it, when they plow the roads and the snow melts, you always have this string of rocks and stuff at the side of the road. Well, in the last ice age, when the ice receded, it left mountains. Those are called moraines. And our farm was at the highest point in Montgomery County. So all the TV sticks were out there. We called it Megawatt Farm because we were being blasted by millions of watts of electromagnetic energy. Now, Buck had a personality unlike anybody. And I bring some of these points up. I have a microphone, and I'd like for all of you that are interested to come up and tell a story about Buck, because she has many friends, and she has many stories. As I've already said, she was a fireball, but one of the things I remember the most about Buck was her laugh. She would tilt that head back and ha, ha, ha. Yeah, sometimes it was a cackle, but every time it was an uninhibited belly laugh. She loved to laugh, and you couldn't help but laugh with her. She was a bit hard-headed. She was outgoing, always the life of the party, had unbelievable natural energy. That was one of the things that I noticed when I first met her, in that she would be here, and then all of a sudden she would change, and she would go over there, and then she would go over there, and never wore out, even though all of us that tried to keep up with her did get worn out. She had a lot of passion, too. She got involved in charitable causes like Love Thy Neighbor, which we have one of the board members here. She served also as a board member. Anyone that was down on their luck, Buck would give her or him a hand up, which was needed. She was passionate about her dachshunds too. Little wiener dogs, but she loved them. And chocolate milk, she would drink 3 gallons of chocolate milk a week. And if she couldn't get chocolate milk, she'd almost sit and chug Hershey syrup. And as we've seen from these pictures, Buck had a smile that would radiate, and you couldn't help but feel the warmth that came from that smile. Now, when we all, which we're due to do, pass away, we become part of the one that created us all. Mankind can combine the amino acids and all the proteins and everything it takes that makes a person, but we can't create life. Life is done by the Father in heaven. So Cindi, being now part of the infinite, she's here, and I don't just mean there. She's here. She permeates all of us. And the God of life doesn't recognize death. It's just a mere transition from one form, which we were born into another, so that we can be a part of the one that created us. Infinity can't be divided by 2. So here we are, infinite beings, that in this form, we're bound by the time-space continuum. But that ends when we can truly dance. And as the Course in Miracles states, there is no death. Death is a thought that takes on many forms, often unrecognized. It may appear as sadness, fear, anxiety, or doubt, as anger, faithlessness, and lack of trust, concern for bodies, envy, and all forms in which the wish to be as you are may not come to tempt you. All such thoughts are but reflections of the worshiping of death as Savior and giver of release. Embodiment of fear, the host of sin, God of the guilty, and the Lord of all illusions and deceptions, does the thought of death seem mighty, for it seems to hold all living things within its withered hands, all hopes and wishes in its blighted grasp, all goals perceived, but in its sightless eyes. The frail, the helpless, and the sick bow down before its image, thinking it alone is real, inevitable, worthy of their trust, for it alone will surely come. All things but death are seen to be unsure, too quickly lost, however hard to gain, uncertain in their outcome, apt to fall and fail the hopes that they once engendered, and to leave the taste of dust and ashes in their wake, in the place of aspirations and of dreams. But death is counted on, for it will come with certain footsteps when the time has come for its arrival. It will never fail to take all life as hostage to itself. Would you bow down to idols such as this? Here is the strength and might of God himself perceived within an idol made of dust. Here is the opposite of God, proclaimed as Lord of all creation, stronger than God's will for life, the endlessness of love and heaven's perfect, changeless constancy. Here is the will of the Father and of the Son, defeated finally and laid to rest beneath the headstone death is placed upon the body of the Holy Son of God. Unholy in defeat, he's become what death would have him be. His epitaph, which death itself has written, gives no name to him, for he is passed to dust, but it says, here lies a witness, God is dead. And this it writes again and still again, but all while its worshipers agree, and kneeling down with foreheads to the ground, they whisper fearfully that it is so. It's impossible to worship death in any form and still select a few you would not cherish and would yet avoid, but still believing in the rest. For death is total. Either all things die, or else they live and cannot die. No compromise is possible, for here again we see an obvious position which we must accept if we be sane. What contradicts one thought entirely cannot be true unless the opposite is proven false. The idea of the death of God is so preposterous that even the insane have difficulty in believing it, for it implies that God was once alive and somehow perished, killed apparently by those who didn't want him to survive. Their stronger will could triumph over his, and so eternal life gave way to death, and with the Father, God the Son as well. Death's worshippers may be afraid, and yet thoughts like these, can they be fearful? If they saw that it's only this which they believe, they would be instantly released. And you'll show them this today. There is no death, and we renounce it now in every form for their salvation and our own as well. God made not death. Whatever form it takes must therefore be illusion. This is the stand we take today, and it's given us to look past death and see the life beyond. If we may, would you pray with me? To the God of our hearts and the God of our realization, bless our eyes today. We are your messengers, and we would look upon the glorious reflection of your love which shines in everything. We live and move and have our being in you alone. We're not separate from your eternal life. There is no death, for death is not your will. And we abide where you've placed us, in the life we share with you and with all living things, to be like you and part of you forever. We accept your thoughts as ours, and our will is one with yours eternally. Amen.
When I get where I'm going, on the far side of the sky, first thing that I'm gonna do is spread my wings and fly. I'm gonna land beside a lion and run my fingers through his mane, where I might find out what it's like to ride a drop of rain. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. I'm gonna walk with my granddaddy, and he'll match me step for step. And I'll tell him how I've missed him every minute since he left. And then I'll hug his neck. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. So much pain, so much darkness in this world we stumble through. All these questions I can't answer, so much work to do. But when I get where I'm going, and I see my Maker's face, I'll stand forever in the light of His amazing grace. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going.
I love Cindi Buck. Long time. It's obvious you do too, or else you wouldn't have taken time out of your life. Can everybody hear me okay? To be here. So, please, come up, share some stories. 'Cause Cindi Buck's got a lot of stories.
Hey everybody. I don't do field crowd, so bear with me. I love Cindi a lot. I know everybody here did. She was hard to get along with sometimes. But, most of the time if you come to her and whatever, you just work it out, talk about it, whatever, it all worked out. But what I'm gonna miss the most is, her just popping in the house, not calling, just swinging the door open. Like most people don't do that in Joco, So, I just know that I'm gonna miss her a lot, and she meant a lot to me. it's just so hard. And I love all you guys, and thank y'all. I know she'd be proud to have all you guys here today. I'm done.
Please. It's hard enough for me as a brother-in-law to stay with her. Please, come share stories with me.
I'll share one. Cindy Buck was the most hard-headed woman I've ever known in my life. Now, I'm saying that as a little sister. She didn't listen to me. If she made up her mind something was going to be a certain way, come hell or high water, get out of her way. That's the way it's going to be. She had a hard work. She'd taken the last dollar in her pocket and given it to you. It just didn't come any better than that. Thank you all for coming. It means the world to me and Sean, Susan, Daniel's son, and all of you guys. And y'all know there's a celebration this afternoon at Porky's, I believe. And so we hope all y'all will come out there and do some partying. And smoke a little weed. Drink a
I met Cindy in probably 1978 through my husband, who knew her from around. And I think it was on Hillsborough Street, and she had gotten in trouble at Mondays. When Mondays is the big stairway, and she won't allow to go back in there. But the laugh, I can remember we heard her laughing on the sidewalk, like we were down there at Olympics. And you're right, she was very generous. Very matter of fact, didn't have to worry about playing games, but she will really be missed, and she would be pleased that all of y'all are here. Next, come on.
Who wants to speak up now? This is your last time to say the word. Anybody? Come on, y'all. Go ahead and shout out.
Hi, it's everybody in the club. Oh, what are you laughing over there planking in the hospital? You did. You planked with her the last days. And y'all know if she got mad at you, what'd she do, Susie?
Cock blocking.
Dead or right. She cock blocked. Water receded, but her last day, she had her internet day. I'm gonna do it, okay, Susie?
Okay.
With text. You know it too, Tam. This guy named Tex, she met him up there in Durham, and she messages me. She goes, "I'm taller than he is, even with his hat on."
They had dirty hands.
Very dirty hands. And then she ordered her. She said, "I ordered a $15 drink," and he said, $15? She said, "Don't worry about it. I'll pay you for it." And the waitress comes over there, and he says, "What's the cheapest thing you got?"
Water.
Yep. She has to call me and Susie the whole time, but she's sitting in that parking lot waiting on him to leave so he don't follow her home. And then she cock blocked him. Y'all, she had plenty of laughs and lots of love, and everybody loves her. And we're not getting no more Lucy poop pictures in the morning.
No.
She shared it every morning, sent me pictures of Lucy pooping. Because, yeah, look, she said, "I don't poop in the shovel." Like, y'all master this one. Rachel, y'all were so good with her right there. And it's your turn. I love you, boo.
Yeah.
You got it, Rachel.
We just did some planks, man. That's all we did. We planked everywhere. I was bartending when we were planking.
Yeah.
We planked at Beverly and Mario's.
Yeah.
We planked in the hospital. I told her she was cheating because she was laying down.
I think that.
I told her she was cheating, and then somebody might have said she was in for a sex change and not a
I
biopsy. So when she got all done, I said, "Show it to me. I want to see it." She told me to shut up. I said, "No, show it to me. I wanna see it. I wanna see how big it is. I heard it was gonna be tiny. She didn't tell me to show that. She said, God, I love you, girl. She was one of a kind. She sure was.
Did y'all hear the story about, Lucy Betty? Y'all know what happened to Lucy?
Yeah, Lisa ran away.
Lucy ran away, Daniel's son and Susan were taking care of her. And I had just gotten a call from the funeral home that, they had seen some remains. And had just hung up the phone, and Daniel's son called me, or Susan called me, and said that he was going to the restroom, and he came back out, wasn't gone 10 minutes. He came out, Lucy was gone. Couldn't find her anywhere. That little dog went looking for her mom.
Yep.
And
She ran away the Sunday before.
this day,
Yeah, all
Lucy
them
was not
sorry, man.
found.
No,
All
damn,
the
I
cats
brought
was
her
that puppy.
Looking for
They were gonna spread her body.
We're scared.
That's Lucy, and that's it.
Yeah, me and Cindy were there Sunday and caught
I met Cindi later in life. I didn't get to enjoy her as long as a lot of you guys, but she came to our high school party. She bought us a gardenia bush that's been great. Thanks for her advice. And I didn't know how old she was until her birthday party, the big one. And she came to my birthday party, and my mom was there, and I nudged my mom, and I'm like, she's older than you. She hops on the back of motorcycles, she planes, she goes to parties, she smokes dope, she has a fucking good time. You need to live your life. And if she taught me or reminded me anything, it was live your life, have fun, spend time with your friends and your family, and laugh. So I feel really blessed to have her, just not as long as everybody else, but she definitely touched my heart.
One day or 10 years, it was all the same.
Anybody else want to sit through that? Well, hey, Susan. I know you. It's so good to see you all. God love you. Sure. I'm so glad you guys came. Oh, wonderful. Crazy. That's what everybody keeps telling me. I don't know if that's a compliment.
Please, anybody else?
Anybody else want to speak up on that?
I can tell a funny story about
It's
that.
about time.
So me and Daniel went with her to the I'm in my phone, we're all the time. Me and Daniel went with her to the funeral, and it was for a young kid. He had got hurt in an accident, a truck fell on him. And everybody's standing in line,
Oh,
waiting
God.
for the funeral. And we had the pleasure of standing there with Buck. She just said, what the hell ever, she didn't care, she didn't have no filter. She says, this is so fucking depressing. Why is everyone so sad? And I was like, oh. So I will tell you, Buck would not want you to cry for her. She would want you to be happy she's not in pain no more. She's in a better place than we all are. And she's definitely as high as a kite. For sure. But she loved all her friends, you guys. She really treasured each and every one of you. And you really meant so much to her. And she meant so much to us too. I don't know what else to say. But
Okay. We're part of the Jackson clan. And she was invited to every party that we have ever had. Because she was the light of the party. And she was just the most beautiful soul and the happiest lady I think of that I've ever met.
It's improper to say, God is in my heart. It's more correct to say, I'm in the heart of God. And that's where Cindi resides. God is infinite. There's no time. There's no space. He, and now Cindi Buck, permeates us all. She's with us. Every beat of your heart, and every time you think of her, there she is. And so I'm going to conclude with this lesson called, Let Me Remember I Am One with God. Today we'll give again thanks for our identity in God. Our home is safe, protection guaranteed in all we do, power and strength available to all of us in all of our undertakings. We can fail at nothing. Everything we touch takes on a shining light that blesses and that heals. At one with God and with the universe, we go our way rejoicing with the thought that God himself goes everywhere with us. How holy are our minds. And everything we see reflects the holiness within the mind at one with God and with itself. How easily do errors disappear and death give place to everlasting life. Our shining footprints point the way to truth, for God is our companion as we walk the world a little while. And those who come to follow us will recognize the way because the light we carry stays behind, yet still remains with us as we walk on. What we receive is our eternal gift to those who follow after and those who went before or stayed with us a while. And God, who loves us with the equal love in which we were created, smiles on us and offers us the happiness that we gave. Today, we will not doubt his love for us, nor question his protection and his care. No meaningless anxieties can come between our faith and our awareness of his presence, and Buck's too. We are one with him today in recognition and remembrance. We feel him in our hearts. Our minds contain his thoughts. Our eyes behold his loveliness in all we look upon. Today we see only the loving and the lovable. We see it in appearances of pain, and pain gives way to peace. We see it in the frantic and the sad and the distressed, the lonely and afraid, who are restored to the tranquility and peace of mind in which they were created. And we see it in the dying and the dead as well, restoring them to life. All this we see because we saw it first within ourselves. No miracle can ever be denied to those who know that they are one with God. No thought of theirs but has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone in times gone by and times as yet to come, as easily as in the ones who walk beside them now. Their thoughts are timeless, and apart from distance as apart from time. We join in this awareness as we say, we are one with God. For in these words, we say as well that we are saved and healed, that we can save and heal accordingly. We have accepted, and we would now give. For we would keep the gifts our Father gave. Today we would experience ourselves at one with him so that the world may share our recognition of reality. In our experience, the world is freed. As we deny our separation from our Father, it is healed along with us. Peace be to you today. Secure your peace by practicing awareness you are one with your Creator as he is with you. Sometime today, whenever it seems best, devote maybe a half an hour to the thought that you're one with God. This is our first attempt at an extended period for which we give no rules nor special words to guide your meditation. We will trust God's voice to speak as he sees fit today, certain he will not fail. Abide with him this half an hour. He'll do the rest. Your benefit will not be less if you believe nothing happens. You may not be ready to accept the gain today. Yet sometime, somewhere, it'll come to you. Nor will you fail to recognize it when it dawns with certainty upon your mind. This half an hour will be framed in gold, with every minute like a diamond set around the mirror that this exercise will offer you. And you'll see Christ's face upon it in the reflection of your own. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you'll see your own transfiguration in the glass this holy half an hour will hold out to you to look upon yourself. When you're ready, you'll find it there within your mind and waiting to be found. You will remember then that the thought which you gave this half an hour, thankfully aware no time was ever better spent. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you'll look into this glass and understand that the sinless light you see belongs to you. The loveliness you look on is your own. Count this half an hour as your gift to God and certain that his return will be a sense of love you cannot understand, a joy too deep for you to comprehend, a sight too holy for the body's eyes to see. And yet you can be sure someday, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you'll understand and comprehend and see. And the further jewels to the golden frame that holds the mirror offered you today, you can repeat hourly to yourself, let me remember that Cindi Buck, I, and you are one with God, at one with all brothers and sisters and myself in everlasting holiness